Positive energy. Good to see you all. Hope y'all doing great tonight. We're going to take it to the streets tonight. You know how we do. We all over the place. Rep your city to everybody. You know I'm representing Chicago, Illinois, a.k.a. Chirac. Shout out to everybody on Facebook, everybody on Twitch, everybody on Kick, everybody on YouTube, and everybody on Facebook from the rack. Shout out to all my folks and my people here in the rack. You know how we do. We got the 559 Nina in the building. We got the beautiful and gorgeous Nicole representing Woodbridge. Fresno in the building. New Orleans in the building. Pittsburgh is in the building. Toronto is in the building. Miami is in the building. San Jose is in the building. Baltimore is here. Jersey is in the building. Y'all come on in. Rep your city. Rep your city. Okay. If you got teenagers, boys especially, but girls too, 13 and up, if they're still awake, you might want to make them come and sit down and watch this. If not, make them watch it tomorrow or the first chance you get. Make them watch this live stream. Sit there with them. Don't let them wiggle. Don't let them squirm. Especially your sons. Make him or them watch this live stream. Okay? Make them watch this live stream, all right? Let me help you out. A lot of times, young people will listen to somebody else before they listen to their parents. And so, if you got a son, make them watch this live stream. End of the day. I'm going to get into all of it, G-Ra, on the reality of the streets, the street codes and the street rules. What is rules, what is not rules, what you can do, what you cannot do. We're going to get into all of that. First off, ladies, do not date or marry men that are participating in criminal activities unless you're built like that. If you're shaky, if you're not strong, do not date criminals. Don't do it. Do not do it. You have to be built like that. I hope you're listening, ladies. You have to be built like that. If you built like that and you in it to win it, fine. But if you are not, do not date or marry men that participate in criminal activities. Do not. I repeat myself. Ladies, do not date or marry men that are involved in criminal activities unless you are built like that. If you don't have a stomach for that, if you can't make them jail visits, if you can't mail those magazines, if you can't keep your mouth shut, don't do it. Do not. You understand? This is coming from somebody that was in the streets heavy. Okay? This is coming from a real monster. And when I was in the street, I was a certified dealer at the highest level. I was playing with the big boys. So if you're not like that, stay out the streets and do not date a man that is doing crimes just because you're horny and act like you ain't never had a man before and you just taking anything, any woman that pop up or any man that pop up, you just taking them. Now, I've been married a few times, and when I was really heavy in the streets, my queen at that time, she was a go-getter. Always visited. I got magazines twice a week, no less than once a week. Money was always on my books. I never missed a commissary. And she came and brought my son. That wasn't hers, but we was raising him, and brought my newborn daughter. My daughter was just born, and I got busted. I had to look at my baby through that glass. I asked her about it. She don't even remember. She said she thinks she remember coming to the jail, but she don't remember. She was real little. I remember her just looking at me. She probably didn't know who the hell I was. This was the queen I had at that time. She kept it solid, as solid as she could keep it. Her house was the one that the police raided. She kind of panicked on that a little bit and let them in. She wasn't supposed to let them in. She was supposed to make them kick the door down, but she wasn't a gangster. She was just a queen. I was the hustler / gangster, depending on the situation. So I would say I was 75% hustler, 25% gangster. I was only a gangster if you stepped on my foot. And but I was really a monster and a gangster to my heart. I was mean and dangerous, but I started hustling, so that outshined the monster part. So the monster part kind of got parked, had to take a back seat because I'm a hustler and I had customers and I had a lot of female customers and male customers, and most of them were, well-to-do black people that had great jobs. So I had to be nice. I had to be cordial. I had to be smile. I had to be a typical foundational black American. I couldn't be mean to everybody. I would lose money. But she stood strong. She didn't fold. She didn't panic or nothing like that. But I beat the case. But I could have not beat the case. And I was looking at 8 to 40. I could have got 8, could have got 10, 20, 15, 30, 35, or the whole 40. 40 years, at 40 years old, I get out, I'm 80. Well, I get out early. I'll probably get out when I was like 60. They would have cut some time off. I went to the county jail. I was in the county jail for 4 months. And 4 months in the Cook County jail is like a year in Illinois State Prison. Brothers cop out, plead guilty to go to prison. They can't wait to go to prison because it's better than the Cook County jail. Dude's like, I can't wait to get out of here. I can't wait to get to prison where I got some movement. So Cook County jail is like prison. In some cases rougher, in some cases not, because it was livable. And some prisons, like in Louisiana and stuff like that, it's just some prisons is just filthy, nasty rats. So at the times in the Cook County jail, it wasn't that. You didn't see no rats. You didn't see no roaches. It was clean. We mopped our cells every day. We mopped the day room. We kept the tables clean. So it wasn't dangerously dirty where you could get no diseases or nothing. But I was locked up with some civilians, but I guess you can imagine what it is being locked up with a bunch of vice lords, Blackstones, folk corner hustlers, GDs, BDs, and Latin kings, Latin disciples. I guess you could imagine. At that time, I wasn't a gang member. I was just a dangerous dude. So at that time, I was 40. I wasn't a gang member. All my friends was GDs, though. So I was kind of plugged with the GDs, but I wasn't the GD because I didn't want to be under the devil, under the pitchfork. And my name was Pharaoh. So when the brothers found out my name was Pharaoh, all of the Blackstones, but especially the vice lords, went crazy because a lot of the vice lord symbolism is pyramid. So I was highly respected amongst the vice lords when they found out my name was Pharaoh. Plus, I wasn't no Boy Scout. So it made it very easy. So, they kind of made me an honorary vice lord. I'm probably the only brother, probably in the history, that became a gang member at 40 years old. But it wasn't like most people. You have to get my book to know the details of that. It was more honorary thing. It wasn't like no punk stuff. It was based on my name. And I was already plugged in with everybody before that even happened. So I was already solid. Plus, like I said, I was, well, I wouldn't say I was bad, but the police said I was armed and extremely dangerous. that was what, that's what if I got pulled over and they, the police, they go and check your license plate and they come and say, he's a monster. He's armed and extremely dangerous, which I don't feel like I was armed and extremely dangerous. I feel like I was very rough around the edges. I was a monster for sure. But I don't feel like I was armed and extremely dangerous because I was diplomatic and I was a loner. And being a loner cuts the danger because I'm not around anybody that I have to get dangerous with. The only person I was around with the other people I was hustling with, and that was only for a hot second. And the only person that I was around for hours and stuff was my queen, where I wasn't mean. I was very nice to her, but I wasn't a smiley type of person. So I was a little stern acting. I was sweet. I was nice to her, but I didn't. You know, I wasn't one of these happy husbands. You know, so even now I'm really not the man to be with if you want a smiley, happy husband. I like to see you happy, but I'm not giggly. But I do tell jokes and stuff. So yeah, I'm 50-50. But I wanted to talk about this situation because there are false information about no snitching that they tell the youth, no snitching. And I want to talk about that because I think the youth need to know the truth about that. So let's get it cracking. We're going to talk about the code of the streets. Now, let's start with the no snitching. No snitching is somewhat accurate, but not 100% accurate. So let's say I'm in a car with a dude, and he's got illegal stuff up under the seat or in the trunk. He's driving, I'm in the car. They pull us over. They find the stuff. Usually they'll separate you. They'll handcuff one and take you back behind a police car and keep the other one up there, or put one in the back of the police car, keep one up there. They'll separate you so they can ask you questions separately. So it's your drugs or gun. It's not mine. Now, in that situation, I don't know nothing. I haven't seen nothing. It's not mine. They ask me, is it his? I don't know. It's just not mine. So I'm not going to say it's his. It's not mine. He's supposed to say it's not his. He says it's not his. I say it's not mine. If he's driving in his car, sometimes they'll let me go and they'll arrest him because it's his car. But a lot of times they will take us both to jail. But they can't charge us both. They got to charge one of us. So if they take us to jail and he says it's mine, at that point, I'm going to say it's not mine, it's his. Why? Because the no snitching rule doesn't apply because he is snitching and lying. And he's trying to put a case on me. The rules in the street is you got to take your charge. Period. That supersedes no snitching. You have to take your charge. I got pulled over once with my cousin in the car. He's not my real cousin, but our parents been knowing each other before me and him was born, so he's like my cousin. And I got pulled over. I was going to try to find a hat, and I was driving around. I had a Glock in the car. I always had my Glock because I had issues. So I was a monster. So I just had a gun all the time. So I got so many gun charges. But anyway, I got pulled over with a Glock over on Western, for those who live in Chicago, on my way to Evergreen Plaza at the time. Police pull us over, go into the car, they find the gun. They take me to jail. I'm not going to say it's my cousin's gun. I'm not going to say it's mine, but I'm not going to say it's his. So I didn't say nothing. And they took me to jail and they let my cousin go. Now, if they would have took us both to jail, I still wouldn't have said nothing and let them do their process. But if the case would have came where they decide to let me go and hold my cousin, I would have said, let him go as man. Because I got to take my charge. I was the one that wanted to be the gangster. I was the one that took the gun. He just riding with me. I'm not sending him to prison. And I'm not getting him no case for a decision I made, a gangster decision. And you got to be a gangster. So if you're a gangster, then you got to be a gangster. You can't get caught by the police and say, I ain't no gangster. It's his gun. No, it's your gun. Now, you don't do like Little Meech and get to talking to the police, did you, sir? Did you find you just shut up? You don't say nothing until you let the police do their job first. Nobody say nothing until you see what the police gonna do. Because in some cases, if don't nobody say nothing, the police will just let you both go. In some cases, they'll just keep the gun, keep the stuff, and say, okay, go on about your business. So you shut up until you see the outcome. But if the outcome is some type of jail time, you got to take your charge. So they let my cousin go, so I didn't say nothing because I didn't have to take the charge because they already came up to the conclusion it was my gun. For that case, I think I got a year probation. Then I had another gun case, And they wanted to give me 3 years, but I had a drug case after that. You got to get my book to get all that. So I had a gun case, a drug case, you know. And well, really, I had a gun case, then a gun case, then a drug case. And they moved the drug case first. My lawyer was good. He switched him around and said he wanted to take the drug case first. I beat that, and then they said, okay, now the gun case. The district attorney is pissed, so he insisted on 3 years. He already had a gun case. He just beat this big case, 8-40. We want 3 years. The prosecutor and the state's attorney was standing on that. No, we want 3 years. No probation. No. 3 years. We want 3 years. The judge looked at me, what you want? I want a continuance. Go back 3 years. What you want? Continuance. 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 But the continuance costs you money. So if you ain't got 500 every time you got to come back to court to put in your lawyer's pocket, he not going to keep getting you continuances. And finally, continuous, and say, all right, we'll give them, we'll give them probation. We'll give them 2 years. I bet. I took the 2-year paper. But I didn't put it on my cousin. So ladies, do not deal with drug dealers or gangsters or criminals, because some of them will put it on you. They will have the stuff in your house. If they raid your house and he don't say it's his, you going to prison. If his fingerprints ain't on it and there's no way to prove who it is and it's in your house, you're going to prison. You're going to lose your job. And you're going to have a criminal case. You're probably going to lose your house. You might lose everything. Your car, because you ain't going to be, your bail, you might not have your bail money. So ladies, do not date criminals. First off, dating criminals, you're going to end up with STDs, because 98% of criminals is cheating on you. You was not his woman. You just a sucker to sleep with. That man don't love you. That man is a criminal. He just using you. So you want to get STDs, you want to get HIV, date a criminal. There's very few criminals that are loyal. Now, me, I was a loyal man with my women, but as a criminal, I was not as loyal as I should have been, because I was a criminal. I was a hustler. And so as a hustler, I'm hustling. And I don't got no rules like that. So I met a woman, and she lived in Milwaukee. She was beautiful. Dreadlock queen, tall. She was beautiful. And I probably would have hit it and split it. And, just stay with my wife like that at the time. I be telling y'all stuff that most people not going to tell you. And she lived in Milwaukee. But it ended up turning into a relationship, because I was a hustler. And I would go up there on early Sunday morning after I made all my sales Saturday night. So 3:30, 4 in the morning, I shoot up there. I'm already outside. I might be close to downtown, so I get to her in about 35, 40 minutes. But the reason it turned into more than it was supposed to have been, because I could have just hit it and then just stayed pseudo-loyal, you want to call it, to my queen. But liquor stores was closed on Sunday. And Sunday morning, when I would get up, all her uncles and cousins them coming by, and it ain't no liquor. So I began to go and collect big glass gallon jugs and buy empty gallon jugs. And well, not gallon jugs, but I would buy pints and stuff, and I would get gallons of liquor. So I would get gallons and fifths of liquor, have the trunk full of liquor, buy a bunch of pint bottles and a funnel, and I would go up there, and I had a liquor store at her crib. So I'd knock her back while relaxing after making thousands of dollars. And then I would sell hundreds of dollars of liquor, and then I would go home to my queen, who ain't no telling what she was doing. But, who's making love to your old lady while you was out making love. So ain't no telling what she was doing. Well, I was doing what I was doing, but, gangsters gonna ball. Gangsters gonna ball. Gangsters. So the money made me, I probably wouldn't have really messed with her like that, but the money, I went every Sunday because this is $700, $1,000 on top of all the money I'm making. Then I'm gonna get back early Sunday, catch my Sunday customers and all that. You know what I'm saying? So, it was one of those things. But I never put a case on nobody. You have to take your charges. Is the bottom line. Now, there's rules of no snitching. But the problems with the rules of no snitching is the no snitching rule is only valid if everybody abides by the rule. And so I seen Fat Joe talking about no snitching and with Jada kissing, and they are not telling people the facts. The no snitching rule is only valid if nobody snitches. That's it. If the whole crew don't absolutely go by that rule is obsolete. So young men that's watching me now, if you got your sons watching, or if you're a younger brother in the streets, understand that no snitching means for everybody. It doesn't mean just you. And so young brothers, typically, the streets go like this. The first one to tell goes home. If you in a car with a bunch of dudes and y'all do a drive-by, there's three of y'all and all three of y'all shooting, and they catch y'all and take y'all to jail, whoever tells first goes home. In some cases, not, because in some cases they got one in particular they really want. And so the one that they really, really want, they won't even approach you to snitch. So if they really want me, they won't even come and tell me to tell them everything. And if I do tell them everything, it won't be snitching, it'll be a confession. And they'll be like, he confessed to the crime, and they'll lock me up. So if I snitch, I'm self-snitching because they're not going to give me no deal. Period. In that case, you stuck. All three of y'all was out there. The first one tell go home. But they want you. But here's the thing. If they don't care who they're going to get, real gangster shit is you need to tell first. Because all bets is off and the first one tell go home. If you're in a situation where you in trouble with some dudes, somebody gonna tell. So you going to prison or you going home? It's just that cut and dry. Now people would say, well, Pharaoh, how you gonna say you're a gangster when you get caught with 4 or 5 dudes and you tell so you can go home? Because a gangster is a cutthroat. So if I'm a gangster, I'm a shooter, and I tell on you and go home, what you gonna do about it? Because I could put a bag on your head while you locked up. I could put some money on somebody's book and you don't never get out to do nothing because I'm a gangster and I'm a monster. I'm not an angel. I'm on demon time. There's no such thing as no righteous demon. I'm a criminal. The only reason you say don't tell on you because I'm supposed to be scared, but I'll knock your noodles out. So I don't care. What you gonna do about it? I'm going home. It's his. Because this is the land of cutthroats. If it's 4 of us, I'm not finna be doing 30 and you at home sleeping with my woman because that's what they gonna do. In the streets, the dudes you loyal to ain't gonna be loyal to you. They're gonna snake you. They're gonna be in your baby mama face. They're gonna be in your girlfriend face. And if your daughter old enough, they're gonna be in your daughter's face. So what rules? Because there's only one rule in the streets, young brothers. Every man for himself and God for us all. That's the real rule in the streets. It's every man for himself. That street code is a myth. Okay? The streets is a myth. That's a myth. You're going to be the only sucker going by the code. Stay out the streets. Young men, if you're watching me, stay out the streets. Don't let nobody tell you about no street rules. Ain't no street rules. It's dog eat dog. Okay? Young black men, listen to me, or any young men. Ain't no love in the heart of the city. Ain't no love in the heart of town. Y'all ain't heard that song? Ain't no love in the heart of the city. Ain't no love when you ain't around. When your ass in the prison, when you ain't around, boy, it ain't no love, boy. You believe that? Ain't no street code, man. You out there with the vampires and wolves and goblins, man. These ain't church people. These ain't church people. They gonna tell you about the code of the streets. Man, listen, let me tell you. Boy, it ain't no rules. Black man, listen to me. Young brothers and sisters, there ain't no rules. Don't let nobody tell you in crime is rules. There is no rules. There's no rules. There's just the order of the day. Shoot first and ask questions later. Ain't no rules, man. Ain't no rules. Ain't no rules. Ain't no rules in the street, and ain't no rules in the county jail. Do I got a story where I found out the truth? No, because I was the devil, and the devil don't need lessons on being no devil. After I got stabbed, I woke up Lucifer. So I knew I was on demon time anyway. I already knew you can't trust nobody. You learn you can't trust nobody when you like high school, but surely by 18, 19, if you're a young man, by the time you get 18, 19, 20, 21 like that, your friends start disappearing. Your friends be stabbing you in the back just on regular stuff. Just on regular stuff, your friend try to talk to your girlfriend and stuff like that. I had somebody who was like a brother to me, and my girlfriend came to my crib to see me, and I wasn't there, so she figured I'm always with him. She went to his house to see I was over there. He tried to talk to her. Still today, he don't know I know that. Still today, if me and him got in a situation, it'll go bad for him. He won't make it. Because I still know he a snake, and I never let him know that I knew he was a snake. Mind you, I spent 4 months in the county jail. Y'all think all the men coming in and out of the county jail for 4 months could be trusted? Do you know what'll happen to you, young brothers, if you go to prison and you make a friend? They want to look out for you. They want to help you out, give you noodles, give you snacks. You know what's going to happen to you? You know what's going to happen to you? He's going to go work out with you, get you real tired. And after he got you real tired, he's going to put his arm around you, going to walk you in the cell. And a lot of times when you get in this cell, 4 or 5 dudes going to come in there behind y'all. And guess what's going to happen? So I go to prison right now. You want to be my friend. If you take the R off a friend, you get fiend. I'm going to do you dirty. I'm going to do you. You're trying to set me up. You want to do something to me about an hour and 45 minutes from now. But I'm going to do something to you in about 25 minutes. I'm going to play the sucker because you're trying to play me like a sucker. So I'm going to play the sucker to play you like a sucker. And then, surprise. I don't know why you offer me noodles, because I'm going to take them. Thanks. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Ho, H to the Izzo. My name is Ho, you H to the Izzo. You know what I'm saying? Boy, listen, you are my friend. You want to be my friend? Oh, that's the wrong. Oh, you want to be my friend? Really? Oh, you want to be my friend? You my good buddy, huh? You love me, huh? I just got in there. Oh, you love me? Cool. I'm with it. Yeah, yeah. I'm slow. Yeah, I'm slow. Come on, just walk me. Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna play that. I'm gonna be real slow till I ain't slow no more. I ain't gonna say nothing to you until you know. You ain't gonna know who you're dealing with until it's way too late. That's when I'm a, but I ain't gonna do that. You know what I mean? Because I already know I don't got no friends, bro. Friends is fiends. I don't got no friends. I had a dude in the county jail talking about, what up, Pharaoh, my boy? That's Pharaoh, man, that's my boy. He said, what's up, my boy? I said, man, your boy is at home watching your best friend sleep with his mama. Yeah, man. The guy said, man, you didn't have to say all that. What's wrong with y'all? I'm in here looking at 8 to 40. I'm not a nice guy. Like, you in here looking at 6 months. I'm looking at 8 to 40. What? Y'all thought I was cool? You said what you hear. That's the difference, is what you hear. If you don't think them white dudes will put a pillowcase over a white dude's head and take him, you tripping. That's all make believe. I be seeing them stories, Robert. Them stories be lie. If you a Mexican gonna do you in there. If you white, a white man gonna do you in there. Them stories is false, bro. Cause if you black and you see the whites come in and they take them in and smile and everything, and you're gonna be like, the whites treat this good. But what you don't know is what happened back in themselves. You'll never know. So I'll challenge any black dude from prison and say, do you know what be happening on with white prisoners behind the scene? And they'll have to say, you got a point. I know I got a point. You don't know what they doing. So anybody tell you that it's all sweet with the whites in prison, it's all sweet because they business, they never tell you they business on what they doing to each other. That's why. They not, listen, man, if you really, it's not sweet with nobody in there. So y'all don't believe they turning out white men in there? Right. And there's no women in there? Come on, man. You can only sell to your own, so who they selling to? So you telling me the white gangs in prison, they selling to their own, and if they sell to a white dude that don't pay, they don't buy them, they just leave him alone if he don't pay? Y'all believe that? Because I be seeing dudes talk about his decent, man, they look out for each other. Yeah, right. First off, you can't compare them to us because they just white. But in California, you got the Serenos and the other ones with the N. They not friends. Somebody from Cali, what's the ones with the N? No Terranos or something like that? They not friends. One reason the whites ain't as bad as us because the whites don't got gangs. They just white. But if two opposite biker gangs get in there, it'd be smoke. If two white biker gangs is in a penitentiary that don't like each other in the street, oh, it'd be smoke. But in most cases, whites that's going ain't in no gang. So they don't live the life we live. And so when the brother like, well, why the blacks like that? Bro, because we BD and GD, vice versa, they not like that. We Crips and Bloods, bro. So you can't compare our structure with their structure. They don't got gangs, so they could be white. We don't be black. You know what I'm saying? Right, Norteno. Yeah. They not cool, but we don't be black. When we go, when you go to prison and jail, you're not black. They white. They might be Mexican. But we not black in there. In the county jail in Chicago, it's the finball in the 6, boy. And the finball is vice versa, folk on us is black songs. And the 6 is the GDs and the BDs, like that. We not black like that. We're not black in there. So you can't compare us to other races. We got gangs. They don't got gangs like that. I can name 5 black gangs. You can't name 5 Mexican gangs? I bet you them Mexicans ain't getting along with them Venezuelans. I bet you that. Because over here in Little Village, Venezuelans got did dirty. So they ain't Hispanics. They're not Hispanics. No, they're not Hispanics. A lot of Latin kings is Puerto Ricans. Puerto Ricans don't really mess with Mexicans. Man, Puerto Ricans don't mess with Mexicans. You better ask somebody. Mexican gang, y'all do know the Hispanics in Chicago is gang banging. Don't y'all, man, listen. Man, don't y'all listen to that stuff. That's why you got to listen to the big Pharaoh. You see in Chicago? You see what this say? Some prominent Mexican and Hispanic rival gangs in Chicago include the Latin Kings and the 2-6 Nation, as well as the Maniac Latin Disciples and the Spanish Cobras. These rivals have existed for decades with many conflicts linked to territory. If you think that the Latin Kings and the 2-6s can get locked up and this all peachy keen, stop listening to dudes that ain't telling you, that ain't keeping it a billion. Them dudes is lying, bro. Boy, the Latin Kings and the 2 6s, y'all think they cool when they get no, they not. No, no, don't listen to that. That's nonsense. That's how I make believe. Because you got black Latin Kings on my soul. I got a couple partners, they Latin Kings. We got black Latin Kings. So don't y'all believe that they just all peace and it's kumbaya. You believe that if you want to. Why they saying the prisons in Mexico so violent then if they get along? You do know prisons in South America is some of the most violent prisons in the world. And they all Hispanic. And they not in there playing Ring Around the Rosie, and it ain't no kumbaya in there. Y'all don't know about the gang wars in Latin America? Boy, listen. They not. Listen, man. When I got stabbed, I was in worse shape than the people that got shot. And one of the dudes I used to be kicking it with in there when they took me to the county hospital, they got us all in a big room, and it was some Mexicans, homeboys of mine. We became homeboys in there. And the dude that got shot, he was just waiting for the bullet to come out the other side. He can go home. The bullet was coming out. They told him just wait till it poke out and they'll get it out and sew him up. He can go home. So I said, well, who shot you? And I can't remember the exact street, but he was like lived on 17th Street. And he said 18th Street shot him. And he was like, he beefing with 16th Street and 19th Street. So I said, wait a minute. So 16th Street, 17th Street, 18th Street, and 19th Street all beefing. They're like, yeah, bro. Yeah, Holmes. I said, hell no. I couldn't believe it. He said, I live on, I forgot the street. I'm just giving you an example. He was like, I live on 17th Street, and we beefing with 18th Street. I said, what? And he was like, yeah, because then, the day before that, I got into it with 19th Street. I said, wait a minute. On 17th Street, 18th Street, 19th Street don't get along. You're like, no, Holmes. I said, hell no. That was in L.A. I said, hell no. That was in L.A. County. It tripped me out. He said, I'm from 17th Street. I said, who shot you? He said, 18th Street. I said, hell no. That was in L.A. I said, where you from? He like, 17th Street, Holmes. I said, well, who you beefing with? 18th Street. I said, hell no. You beefing with 18th Street? And then he said, yeah, a week before that, I had gotten a shootout with like 16th Street. I was like, oh, damn. So it was like 16th Street, 17th Street, 18th Street, 19th Street, beefing. Because, when the ones came up from that country right under Mexico, I don't know if it's Guatemala or Honduras, when them came up, they was, what was the name of that gang? See, 18th Street, MS-13. And the 18th Street, yeah. Yeah. MS-13 don't get along with no Mexicans. They be lying to y'all about that. Man, listen, they beefing. Here it go right here. The most well-known gangs in El Salvador are Mara Salvatrucha, MS-13, and the 18th Street Gang. Now, the 18th Street Gang is very interesting. The 18th Street Gang, this is crazy. The 18th Street Gang is some people from El Salvador that was in LA. And in LA, they lived on 18th Street, was their area. So they started the gang, the 18th Street Gang in LA. And then when they got deported, they took the gang back home. So the gang didn't even start in El Salvador. The 18th Street MS-13 and them started in LA. But they deported them and it blew up down there. So that's who dude got shot. He was either with 17th Street or he had got shot by 18th Street, or either he was in 18th Street and he got shot by 17th Street, but they ain't the same people. See, for black people, we just think they all Mexicans. They don't be all Mexican. See, a lot of people be lying, bro, and they'll tell you they Mexican, but they be El Salvadorian or Guatemalan. I'll give you a perfect example. I had some brethren, Kajba and I Roots, and they were some Rastas from Trinidad. And when we used to go hang out, and when white people would ask them where they from, they would say they was from Nigeria or Ghana. Real talk. They thought it was funny. They say, I'm from Nigeria. And they would believe them, or they would say they was from Ghana. But they from Trinidad. So a lot of these people, they do not tell you where they from. I know this for a fact, because Kajba used to always say he from Nigeria. Him and I Roots. On my soul. And so these gangs, these foreigners, they don't tell you where they from. It's a lot of people that think they Mexican, think people as Mexicans is not. On my soul. I met a black dude in the LA County jail. Hold on. Let me give my man some. Here go my man Iroots right here. I ain't seen Iroots since he moved to New York. This Iroots right here, he from Trinidad. Him and his brethren, every time somebody asks them where they from, they would say they from Ghana or they would say they from Nigeria. But he from Trinidad. He never told nobody he from Trinidad. Never. And so a lot of Hispanics, they will not tell you where they from. It's a fact. And so I wanted to talk about this because I seen Fat Joe and them, and they talking about no snitching and all that. No snitching is make-believe. The reality is the first one tell go home. That's the reality when it comes to no snitching. Now, it could be two people in the car. but only one of them gonna keep their mouth shut, right? So if you're in the car, you and somebody else, police pull over, find a gun or drugs, keep your mouth shut. If it's his stuff, don't say nothing. Keep your mouth shut. Don't say nothing. Because they might come up to the conclusion it's his stuff. And if you say something, you hurt his case, right? Because if they blame him for it and let you go, he still might not say it's his. They can't come back and arrest you. They got to prove it's his and he could beat his case. So don't tell on him. Keep your mouth shut. They arrest him and take him in, and now he could beat his case. But if you say something, you making it where he can't beat his case because now you're a witness. So if I'm in a car with a brother, they pull us over, they find a gun or they find some drugs. They talk to both of us. They let me go, they take him. Or they take us both to jail and they release me. I'm not finna say nothing. I ain't gonna say nothing the whole process. I'm gonna go down to the jail. He gonna go down to jail and keep my mouth closed. Because if neither one of us talk, they might release both of us. But if they release him and hold me, I'ma tell it's his. Because this means he didn't take his charge. It's a high possibility he put it on me. All bets is off. I'm not taking your charge. Listen, don't let nobody tell you the streets and use the streets to make a sucker out of you. I know dudes that was with dudes. They caught him with drugs or gun. They put it on bro. Although it was the other dude's stuff. Dude go do 7 years, 8 years, 10 years, get out. Other dude act like he don't know him. Don't kick him down with no bread. Might even slept with his baby mama. The same dude you take a charge for, do you dirty while you in there. Won't put no money on your books or nothing. Man, don't take no charge for nobody. The only person you'll take a charge for, let's say I'm in the car with my brother, right? My brother, let's say I take a charge with my brother. My brother is on parole. If he get caught with this stuff, he could do 10, 20. If I get caught with it, I could get probation or 2 or 3 years. In that case, I'm going to take the charge. I'm going to take the charge for my brother because I'm going to do the 3 years. I'm not going to let my brother go do no 20 years and shit. And that's the price I got to pay for running around with him. I know he's a criminal, so I'm guilty. I know my brother's a criminal. I know he's in the car dirty. And he can't afford to go to prison. In that case, I'll take the charge. If you're going to be in the streets, you got to do street stuff. If you can't do street stuff, stay out the streets. So there is cases where I would take the charge because I got no priors and I could get probation. I could be out fighting my case on bail. See what I'm saying? So there is cases where I would take the charge. But you really got to be somebody special to me, like my brother or cousin or something, and you looking at crazy time, and I ain't looking at no crazy time. But I'm not taking 20 years for my brother. I'll take it if I can get probation or a couple years, but I'm not taking 20 years for him. He got to go do his own time. I'm not going to jail, no prison for no 20 years for my brother, my cousin, nobody. If you're going to take them penitentiary chances, you're going to go do your time. And I'm not going to let my brother or my sister do no 20 years for me. I would never do that. If I went out here with this stuff, then I mess my life up. Go face the, you know, go dance to the music. I would never sit back and let nobody do no 10, 5, 10, 15 years for me. I just wouldn't do it. I wouldn't let nobody uh, do no time for me. Now, if they can get probation, a year or something, and we really cool, yeah, I'll let you do it for me. If I'm looking at a lot of time and you could beat it, that's where keep it gangster like that. You understand? A man got to take his own charge. You understand? If you're a gangster. Now, let's say snitching as far as me and you beefing and you shoot me. They say keep it in the streets, right? So you shoot me in the police car. We enemies. Look, man, if you my enemy and we beefing and you shoot me, when the police come, I'm going to say, you shot me. Yeah, he did it. Keith James shot me. He lived on 1649 Loomis. His mama name is Betty. His daddy name is Edward. He drive a blue Mustang, a 2021. Oh my soul. Listen, man. There ain't no rules for no enemy. You're an enemy. By what I look like, I don't understand these street rules. This your op, this your enemy. You trying to keep it gangster and protect your enemy? Really? That's not gangster. That's fake gangster. That's not gangster. They cannot show me nowhere in history that's gangster. That is not gangster. Gangster is dog eat dog. When Bugs Moran and Al Capone was in Chicago, they were sending the police on each other for show. They tell the police, yeah, it's a tip. They over there making liquor on 49th and Loomis, and the police are going raid your liquor store. Well, no, don't tell. It's whatever to get rid of your enemy. Are you kidding me? You're an enemy. I don't care how I get rid of you. You're an enemy. You are an enemy. Yeah, him. Lock him up. Ain't no rules, bro. If you shoot me, I'm going to court. I'm going on the stand. He shot me twice. Now you got some gangsters say, "Bro, you're supposed to keep it gangster." I'm gonna keep it gangster. And then if they send you to prison, I'm gonna put a bag on your head. You might not get out. If I could put money on you when you go to prison anonymously, you ain't never coming back home. And if you do, you might have a couple of holes had to get stitched up. Boy, this is war. Not only will I send you to prison, I try to make sure you don't leave. You know what I'm saying? What? That's why I don't be understanding what they trying to tell these people. We got uneducated young men trying to teach people about what it is to be a gangster. Ain't no damn rules. Ain't no don't snitch on your enemy. Are you serious? You definitely tell on your enemy. You tell. Anything to mess your enemy up, it's the enemy. It's an enemy. And when it's an enemy, there's one rule. All is fair in love and war. Everything's on the table. Listen, if we have war, everything's on the table. There's nothing off the table. Anything I could do to ruin you is on the table. What are we? You is my enemy. I don't owe you no type of loyalty. I'm going to keep it real for the streets. Hey, man, the hell with the streets. The streets. Show me the streets. Nobody have ever been able to show me the streets. Everybody say the streets, but nobody never can introduce you to the streets. Who's the streets? Woody and 6ix9ine? The streets love rats. The streets. But I don't care nothing about the streets. The streets thing is a myth because there's nobody ever interviewed the streets. You just interviewing a dude. The streets don't do interviews. The streets don't have an opinion. I ain't never had no opinion on the streets. The streets never talked to me before. I've never met the streets. I've been in the streets, but it didn't talk to me. I never had the streets tell me, hi, Pharaoh, I'm the streets. And this is like this in the streets. I ain't never heard that before. And I'm not listening to no possible snake give me no rules. Bro, use the snake. Would you let a snake give you some rules like a rattlesnake? Would you let a rattlesnake tell you, you could touch me as long as you got on blue shoes and you would touch the rattlesnake? You believe the rattlesnake? Rattlesnake got rules? Snakes, I didn't know snakes had no rules. How are you going to be a snake and got rules? Make some sense. That's why I tell y'all stay out the streets because they be lying. I did 4 months in the county jail and I was ready to do anything to anybody. I had somebody that's my boy in the county jail. It's my main man. He come over to my tip. He got a bottle, a water bottle. And he said, you want some water, Joe? I'm like, no. He said, you sure you don't want no water, Joe? I'm like, no. He said, drink the water, Joe. So I took the bottle, takes the water. It's vodka. I'm like, oh, yeah. Well, the guards have brought in some vodka in the water bottle. Cool. This my main man in here. This big foe. We drinking the water bottle. Our brother walked by and dude say, dude gonna stop walking around here with his booty sticking out like that. Now, young people understand something. Under these situations, you can't show no reactions. It's some gangster shit. So when he said that, I knew he had said some penitentiary stuff, that he'd been in the penitentiary, and it slipped. Because we ain't in the penitentiary, in the county jail. When they're not doing this, what he said they're not doing in the county jail, so I know it slipped. So I know, you got to be smart. I know when he said it, immediately probably caught himself and he's looking at me to see if I heard it. But I act like I didn't hear nothing. See what I'm saying? I never twitched or nothing. I just acted like he never said it. There was no reaction. There was no change in my emotion because I know if I act like I actually heard that, that could get me hurt in there. Because it might be something he might be afraid I'm going to repeat. So I didn't make no reaction. But I made a mental note. If he go to the if I go to a penitentiary and see him, do him. Yep. When he said that, I said, okay, if I go to penitentiary him, I gotta do him. I gotta get him out of here. Because he let me know he might do anything. You know what I'm saying? Somebody like that might try to do me. If you know what I'm saying. You understand? So what he didn't know that I didn't give into, that if me and him end up in the same penitentiary, I'm finna get him before he get me. I locked that in my mind. Out on the streets, when he got out, we was still cool or whatever. But if we would have got locked up in any prison and I bumped into him and he played that's my boy stuff, I would have tried to get him alone and I would have did it. Because I could not trust him. I couldn't trust him. I can't trust him. Because these would be the same ones that'll sabotage you. You be in the infirmary bleeding and got to get stitched up. If they even let you live. And I mean, it'd be brutal in there. I can't even say what it'd be like on this YouTube when those men attack a man, because usually it'd be a bunch of them. It'd be something that you don't even want me to describe how bad it'd be. It'd be violently brutal. That's when you find out how much they really hate you. You thought they had love for you, man. It's not until that happened that the real truth come out. And it'd be like, I always didn't like you. Yeah, you got people like that. It'll be around you, smiling in your face all the time. They want to take your place. Backstabbers. Backstabbers. Real talk. It's one of the realest songs ever made. That's one of the realest songs. Backstabbers, one of the realest songs ever made. You better go listen to it. That man said, dude, gonna stop walking around with his booty poked out like that. This a masculine gangster. I said, mental note. If you do be found guilty and they send you to a yard that he on, you know what you got to do. You can't trust this man. If y'all locked up, he got animalistic instincts. Okay, it's two of them. It's two of him. You dealing with the one. You don't know the other him that he hiding. You understand what I'm telling y'all? And so I just wanted to get that over to the young brothers. Don't believe none of them rules. Don't you go to prison for nobody. Don't you go to prison, no 5 years, 3 years for nobody that's making a fool out of you that want to do stuff and don't want to cop out to their own charge. Don't do it, young brothers. That's not gangster taking nobody charge. They supposed to take their own charge. That's gangster. If you gangster enough to sell drugs, you gangster enough to have a gun, then you supposed to take your charge. And for young brothers watching me, when you go outside doing crime, go out there knowing you could go bye-bye. Stop acting surprised when you get arrested and get sentenced. You're supposed to go out there knowing that. The only thing I made a mistake, and one thing y'all got to learn that I didn't know, is whatever crime you do, find out how much time it carries. I didn't know that till I got in front of the judge and he said 8 to 40. I'm like, 8 to 40? And one thing I noticed about the brothers that been in the penitentiary, every crime you do, they can tell you what it carries. You say, hey, man, they arrested me for that. He'd be like, that's 5 to 7. Man, they arrested me for that. That's 2 to 9. And that's what I noticed the difference between dudes that been in the penitentiary and dudes didn't. Dudes that get in trouble a lot, they go find out what each crime carry. And so if you're going to get in a crime, you never been to prison, go, whatever crime you're doing, find out how much time it carry. That might determine if you want to do it. Don't be like me standing up there. I got caught with some stuff, but it wasn't no 8 to no 40. I wasn't supposed to get no 40 years. If anybody would have asked me, when you get caught with this stuff, how much time you going to get? I would have said 4 or 5 years. I would have thought I'm going to get 4 or 5 years. I'm going to go in for 3.5. I'm going to be out. No. The least I could have get was 8. The most I could have got was 40. And now my life is in the hand of the judge because the judge could say 25. The judge could say 35. The judge could say 40. Or the judge could say 8. But you don't want your life in nobody's hand like that. 40 years. If I would have did 40 years and I was 40 years old, I would have at least did 30. Even if they let me out with 25, I would have just got out 2 years ago. Now look how much life I lived, 2.5 decades. I would have been locked up. I would have just got out. I would have only been out 24 months. That's if I got 25. If I would have got 30, I wouldn't be out yet. If they made me do the whole 30, I would still got 3 more years to go. Well, 2.5. Think about it. All this time I've been out here doing all this I did, I would have been locked up. I ain't never been to prison. And one reason I never been to prison is because I know the game, and the game go like this. Young brothers, listen to me. You get arrested. Boom. They're going to give you a court date. When you first go for your arraignment or whatever it is called, he gonna tell you your bail. So if you got your bail money, you'll be able to bail out. Call your mama or somebody to bail out. If they ain't got the money, they got to put up their house or something. If they ain't got the money, you got to stay in. They're going to tell you your bail. Then the judge going to ask you, who's your attorney? You might not have one yet. You say, I don't have one yet. I'm trying to get one. So he'll bring you back up in like a month. So that's 30 days you're just sitting in there. But it's going to get to the point where when the judge asks you, do you have a representative, do you have an attorney? And you say, no. The judge is going to look at you like this. So let me get this straight. You on my streets, because this is how they look at it. The law enforcement and the justice system look at it like they streets, because these laws is laws for their streets. They look at it as their streets. He going to look at you like, so you on my streets. You're doing crimes. And you ain't making no money to cut us in? Is that what you telling me? If you ain't got no money, one way you cut them in is by hiring a lawyer. When you hire a lawyer, to them, you put money back into the system because they know your lawyer. They know every lawyer in your city that handle criminal cases. So when you say, I got a lawyer, Say, what's your lawyer's name? I say, George Pappas. The judge like, oh, George. Okay, cool. All right, Pharaoh, cool, cool, cool. See? Now the judge saying, okay, you put money back in. Cool. Right? When I go and get my lawyer and pay my lawyer, right? When your lawyer come to trial, you ain't no longer, it's no longer you against the judge. It's your lawyer against the judge. It's your lawyer against the district attorney. They gonna go easy on your lawyer because your lawyer gotta win cases to make money. So if you have a really good lawyer, they're gonna try to help you beat your case because they're gonna pair, if you got a good lawyer up here, they're not gonna give you a district attorney or prosecutor up here. They're gonna give you a new prosecutor that can afford to take a loss. If you got a bullshit lawyer, they're going to give you the best prosecutor to win. Okay? It's got to be a big, big case before they put the best prosecutors against the best lawyers, like OJ or something. Other than that, they're going to mismatch them. So if you got a really good attorney with a high reputation, they're going to give you a prosecutor that can afford to lose because they need defense attorneys to win cases because it's a justice system. And the justice system includes the state's attorney, the judge, the prosecutor, and the defense attorney are all a part of the justice system. So when you get a good lawyer, you're helping that ecosystem. And now they're going to take it easy on you because they don't want to see your lawyer lose. Because if your lawyer lose too much, he lose money. And they don't want to see the good defense attorneys lose money and go broke. They want to keep them because they're making money. And a lot of times I believe the great defense attorneys charging you enough money where they can kick back the judge. So that's why your defense attorney be like, okay, bro, this is going to cost you this much. And I believe some of that money is for him to pay to win the case. He not paying for you to win. Your lawyer going to pay money under the table, I believe, so he can win because he need a good record so everybody can say, yeah, go hire dude. He be winning. But when you don't get no good attorney and you try to use a public defendant, the judge looking at you like this. Okay, let me get this straight. You out on my streets doing crime, stealing money or selling drugs, making money, and you ain't got no money to put back in the pot? Okay, you think we playing with you. So now they going to send you to some prison to work to make some money. They're going to send you to prison because they're going to make some money off you. Now, you either going to give them some money or you're going to go to prison and make the system some money, but they're going to get some money. That's how the game go. And so once you get a good attorney, he going to tell you, like my attorney say, you got a good attorney. You be talking about your case to him. He going to give you a hint. He going to say, stop talking about it, stop worrying about it. Let me handle it. That's your hint. A good attorney don't want you talking about it or nothing. Unless he asks you certain stuff. Other than that, a good attorney gonna be like, that's what you pay me for. Don't worry about it. You know, that's the hint that you done paid into the system. You good. Even if you found guilty, you're gonna get a slap on the wrist because you paid me. You paying the system. You in the system. So now when I was in court, You sit here, and then there's the things go like this, and then there's the judge, and then there's the secretary lady. So everybody's coming early for court before the judge come out. You want to be sitting there and say, the Honorable so-and-so, everybody stand up like that. You want to be there before he come out. You don't want to walk in there when he come out. You want to be in there when the judge come out. You want to have your case early. So what I noticed, I'm sitting back observing. So I'm seeing certain people got lawyers. The lawyer come in, he stand behind the thing. He's standing on this side of here's the gate. He's standing here, the judge over there. And he's talking to the lady, and the lady walk up and get the papers from him. Or, right? Because he don't really talk to the judge. You have to talk to that lady that do the secretary stuff, because you got one person over this side that do the typing, but then you got like a secretary being there. This the one shuffling the cases for the next case to be get called. And what I noticed is the people that didn't have no money, that didn't play the game right, they lawyer on this side of the gate, and they got to talk to the lady or signal the lady, and she might tell them, bring it here. But I noticed when my attorney got there, he just walked in, walked through the gate, walked up to the lady, talked to the lady, smiling with the lady, know the lady, gave her my stuff. Like, how the hell you just walk back there? Everybody else got to wait. The judge come out, call me first or second. Why? Because I got a big-time attorney, and the judge know he got to go. He getting the big money. He got other cases. He can't sit in no 2 or 3 hours. So right off the top, a good attorney takes you out the picture. The judge ain't even talking to you. Everything is between the judge, the prosecution, the state attorney, and your attorney who knows the prosecutor. And one of my cases, the first day after, my attorney come to me and say, I'm going to ask for a change of venue. This guy is no good. I don't like this guy. Straight up. So he went and asked for a change. They got me a whole new judge. So you get what you pay for. So your attorney becomes the person that's in trial, not you. And if the more you pay for the attorney, the more privileges you get. Because they all golf together. They all go to city events, mayor having something, governor, they all be there. See, they all hobnobbing. They all golf at the same place. So your attorney will be golfing with the prosecutor, with the state's attorney. Talking about all the cases he got before him. And say, what about Pharaoh? What you can do for him? Well, I looked at his stuff and this, we can cut him some slack. He'll be all right. Just make sure he don't miss no court dates and da. What you gonna give him? I'll talk to the judge. We'll find him not guilty. But you gotta come in there and do your part. You can't come in there and mess it up and piss off the judge. Because if you piss off the judge, you're gonna piss off the prosecutor and you're gonna piss off your attorney. And now what would have been probation might end up being 2 years. So my message, what's my message? Man, if you ain't got no money, don't be doing no crimes. If you're going to go out here and do crimes, if you're going to sell drugs, you need to have court money put aside. You don't need to be buying all them cars and all that stuff. You need to have money set aside for bail and for attorney at all times if you're going to be a criminal. And if you're a criminal and you can't sit aside 50,000, 20,000, 30,000, you in the wrong. You need to go get a job. You're not a good criminal. You're a bum. If you're doing crimes and you ain't got no money, you only got a couple $1,000s, you out here taking penitentiary chances for that? Now, if you're selling drugs and they give you a big bond, don't you pay that? They're going to confiscate your money and they're going to put more charges on you. So the reason I was in the county jail for 4 months is because my bond was $250,000. They wanted me to give them $25,000. How can I tell them I'm not selling drugs and give them $25,000? I had the money to bail out, but bailing out is going to basically find me guilty. And if somebody come in there with $25,000, they could arrest my wife or my mother, whoever bring the money, confiscate the money, and put another case on me for money laundering or something illegal. And now I got to prove where the money come from. So I sat in there 4 months to get my bond down and to look innocent. They trying to say I'm a kingpin. Why would I bail out? I'm telling them it's not my stuff. I'm not no drug dealer. I'm not a kingpin. 1 month, bail still $250,000. 2 months, bail $250,000. 3 months, bail $250,000. I'm sitting there. Month 4, bail go down to $150,000. Now I only need $15,000. But anything over $10,000 got to be reported to the IRS. So if my wife or my mother bring in $15,000, they can confiscate that money, contact the IRS, and I got another case. So I had my wife give my mother $5,000 and give my sister $5,000. All 3 of them came to the courthouse where you pay the bill, and each one had a cashier's check for $5,000. That way, no particular check was over $10,000, and the IRS didn't have to be notified because it wasn't 15,000; it was 5, 5, and 5. And then I went home. I sat there for 4 months to get that bail down and get it in a position where I could look innocent. Also sitting there 4 months. I can't be no big drug dealer because I'm broke. I can't tell them I'm not a drug dealer and come slap $25,000. I was in there with a Mexican whose wife bought his bail and they arrested her and confiscated his money. That fool thought he could have his wife bring all that money in there and he's accused of selling stuff. Why am I telling you that? If you don't do the crime, if you can't do the time, if you ain't gangster enough to sit down in jail or in prison, don't get in it. You can't just be a gangster selling or robbing or embezzling or whatever you're doing. You got to be a gangster the whole time. You got to be a gangster in court. You got to be a gangster in the county jail. And you got to be a gangster in prison. Period. And if you ain't really built like that, don't do no crimes. Because you really have to be built like that. I couldn't be out on the streets, this hardcore dude running packages and then go to the county jail and ain't that. When I got to the county jail, I was on that. I didn't have no problems. I was notorious in what I was doing, and I was notorious in the county jail. Wasn't shit sweet. They bring you in Cook County Jail, they bring you in downstairs, then they put you in a bullpen full of dudes. You got to be ready to whoop somebody in there right off the top. It's wild in the bullpen, 20, 30 dudes, 40 dudes. Some of the baddest in the city. Take forever to process you, hours. So they might bring you in at night, 8, 9 o'clock at night, and you might not get to a deck till 10 in the morning. So right before they send you to the deck, they give you your stuff, your clothes you're going to put on your DOCs. You got to take your clothes off, leave them down there, and put on that stuff. They keep your clothes till you get out. They give you a toothbrush, toothpaste, stuff like that. So you better really be that. So when they processed me and they gave me my toothbrush, as soon as they gave me my toothbrush, I broke the bristle off and scraped it down. This before I got to the deck. When I got to the deck, I had a shank already. I had a plastic shank, sharp as hell. I ain't had no toothbrush. But as soon as they gave me a toothbrush, I broke the head off it. Right, I'm on dummy out the top. First nigga say something to me, he gonna catch this toothbrush in the neck. If you ain't no monster like that, stop trying to be a monster. A drug dealer is a monster. A gangbanger is a monster. Anybody doing crimes is a monster. You can't be no angel and do crimes. You got to be a monster. You got to already know this equal prison, period. Stop doing stuff and being surprised when you got to go to prison or when you got to go to the county jail. That's what come with it. That's what come with it. And the code of the streets is nonsense. The rules is every man for himself and God for us all. You on your own. Ain't no rules. And it ain't no love in the heart of the city. It ain't no rules. And that no snitching stuff is bull, because the first one tell is the first one to go home. 6ix9ine was at home, and the rest of them dudes was in prison. And you can say what you want to say. 6ix9ine went home. And Shotty and them went to prison. Because the streets is a myth. So you got to remember, don't get in the streets. Because out here, all is fair in love and war. Show this to your sons. Show this to the men in your family. And don't do the crime if you can't do the time. Stay away from crime. Because crime do pay, but you got to pay to get paid. And that's what they don't tell you. Crime pay, but you can't get paid. You got to put money up to get paid. That's what they don't tell you. You don't get paid for free. You get paid for work. So crime pay if you want to put in the work. If you want to go in and out them jails. If you want to have your wife sending you magazines. If you want to have somebody hustling on the street. Because I had to have my queen still out there selling. None couldn't stop. And when I made my bill and got out, I had to still sell. I got 2 cases. I got a gun case, and then I got this case with all this stuff and a gun, and I still got to go in the streets because I need money. You want to live that life? You know what I mean? And got probation and still had to keep selling and hustling. Cause you get all them felonies on your record. Ain't nobody hiring you. You ain't getting no job. You ain't getting no apartment. You got to really be a gangster. You got to really be a player. You got to D these women down, and she get the apartment, and she paying everything, and you ain't on no lease or nothing. You just in there, and you got to be a gangster. You got to be a pimp. Cause your baby mama and your baby girl, your queen, she gotta have her name on everything. Your name ain't on nothing. You gotta be a gangster. You gotta keep her in line, cause you can't argue with her, cause you ain't on the lease. Cause you can't get on no lease if you got a criminal record. So you really got to be a gangster. You really got to be a player. When you pick the streets, you gotta be a 4-5 things. You gotta be a killer. You gotta be a gangster. You gotta be a player, and you gotta be a hustler. You gotta be. Yeah, ain't none of that. Ain't no one crime. You cannot do one crime. You gonna end up with 4 crimes. Any crime you do, you're gonna have to do 4 things. Ask anybody. I ain't no gangster, I'm a hustler. You don't have to be a gangster, because what happened when you go to buy 8 OZs and it's garbage? And then you a punk and you go, they ain't gonna give your money back. So you gotta be a gangster and take your hustler hat off, put your gangster hat on, and take that stuff back and throw that stuff on the table. Say, give me my money back. You can't go in there. Hey man, this ain't no good. Man, I don't know, man. You think no? You gotta walk in there. Boom. What's up, Pharaoh? Throw that shit on the table. Man, this shit ain't no good. Give me my money back. And when you say, give me my money back, the line is drawn in the sand. They already know what you're saying. It's only one answer. Wrong answer, it's going to go bad. Now, we're going to do this the nice way, or we're going to do this the Pharaoh gangster way. And they're going to give you your money back because you didn't say, can you, would you? You throw that shit up there like a G. Say, this shit ain't no good. Give me my money back. Now, don't multiple choice questions. Anything other than getting the money, it's finna go bad. Wrong answer. Now, I gave you $8,000, but since you gave me the wrong answer, I'm probably finna leave. I got, that cost. That's gonna cost you. So how much money you got laying up in here? Cause all that's gone now. That's on you. You give me the 8, or give me everything. And that's the only way you're going to have respect. So now, if you ain't built like that, don't get in the streets. You got to be mean as hell. And you got to be able to be mean all day and come home and be nice to your queen. You got to have compartmentalized your queen and the streets. And when you cross your threshold to come in your house, you leave everything but your security mentality. That never go nowhere. So your S stay up. You stay on S. S is security for y'all that ain't in the street. So when you go home, the killer mentality, the meanness go away because you with your queen, but the S stay up because you know what you do, and that could come to your house. So I had a thing in the cabinet. I had a thing in the bathroom. I had a thing in the sofa in the living room. Anytime you trying to surprise me and trying to kick that door open, I'ma surprise you. And I had two Rottweilers because I need something to be able to hear and bark. So when you a super gangster, you don't got dogs to bite. You got dogs to hear when you there, but you do got dogs to bite when your queen and family's at home. But the dog's not for you. The dog just let me know to go do what I do. You ain't gotta worry about the dog. You gotta worry about me. The dog's scared of me. And when I say sit, the dog sit immediately. Immediately. The dog already know who the boss. Because your dog got to be a gangster too. And so that's a whole nother story. So you never hit your dog with sticks and stuff. That's brutal. That's brutality. So I never hit my dog and beat my dog and stuff like that. Because if you got a stick in your hand or something, the dog gonna be afraid of the stick or whatever you hitting them with. The dog ain't gonna be afraid of you. So you got a big Rottweiler. Sometimes he get crazy. I want to listen, so I was still on him. That way, I don't gotta pick up nothing. Sit your ass down. I'm still on boop. I don't hurt him, but you know what I mean? I don't hurt him like, where he got to go to the doctor and nothing. I just still on him and just still on them. Because, they rough. This is a male, and he want to know who the leader of the pack is. And if you pick up something when you don't got nothing, when he get older and you don't got nothing to pick up, he going to get you like, oh, where your stick at now? He going to bite you. But when you always got these, so when his ass is like 1 year old and stuff like that, and he started getting kind of big, now never make him mean because the Rottweiler going to turn mean anyway at 2. So you don't make him mean. Leave him alone. He going to get mean anyway. But he going to get to a certain age, he going to test you. And then you still on him. Always use your hand. Don't hurt him, but just, pop him a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Not hurt him where he bleeding and all that. You just hit him in the mouth. It ain't going to hurt him like that, but it's going to, make him sit down. It's like a temporary hurt. You know what I mean? Just bow, and it's no hurt where his mouth sore and all. You don't beat your dog. You just still on. Sit your ass down like that and raise your voice. Don't use nothing. You know what I'm saying? It's the jungle. You understand? So you raise your dog like it's the jungle. And the world you in is the jungle. You know what I'm saying? It's like a jungle sometimes. And make you wonder how you keep from going under. So I hope y'all learn. So when you hear all that, the bottom line is stay your ass out the streets if you're not built like that. If you don't want to keep going to courtroom, if you don't want to be in every jail like I've been in. I've been arrested all over this city, and that's from young, from having herb and ain't even doing nothing because it's already racist. And you're a black man, you're already going to get arrested for nothing. So imagine if you're a criminal. And if you're a criminal, you're doing crimes, you know what I'm saying? Don't smoke in the car. No smoking in the car. No drinking in the car. Always keep your car like a civilian. No ashes in the ashtray. My Cadillac, I threw the ashtray out. It was used. I had it rebuilt. I threw the ashtray out and bought a brand new ashtray. So anytime the police pull me over to open the ashtray, it ain't nobody never smoked in there. How I'm going to ride around with all this stuff in the trunk with hundreds of dollars of merchandise and I'm in here chiefing. Those things you got to stop doing. Anything. You don't run no red lights. You don't drive fast. You keep your seatbelt on. You can't do crimes and break laws, because breaking laws is going to let you get caught for the crime. So if you're going to do crimes, you have to be a decent citizen in the eyes of the law. You can't do a crime and act like a damn criminal. You going to prison. You get in, you put your seatbelt in. Your car smell good. You don't smoke in your car. You don't drink in your car. And young brothers keep dudes out your car. Don't never have no more but one friend in your car. And if you hustling, don't have nobody in the car. But on your off days, you ain't got nothing on you. One dude in the car. 3 dudes in you and another dude is all you can have. And you got to train your friend to ride. Don't ever look at the police. Don't look at the police. Because soon as you look at the police, they pulling you over, because that's a sign of guilt. Because good citizens don't look at the police. All that riding around with a bunch of dudes smoking and drinking, you're going to ruin your life. You're going to get kicked out of college. You're going to get kicked off the football team or whatever you got going on because you were goofy. No matter what you're doing, whether you got a good job or whether you hustling, you got to move like a decent citizen. And a lot of people start hustling and think you can move like a criminal. No, you have to move like a banker, somebody working at a post office, off-duty police officer. That's how you got to move. You got to move like a decent citizen. All your tags got to be good on your car. Everything got to be on there. You can't do crimes and then not be 100% legit. You have to be 100% legit. You can't be smelling like weed. You can't be smelling like alcohol. It's a real job. And too many times, you brothers, you want to hustle, but you don't want to treat it like a job. Whether it's illegal hustling or legal hustling, it's a job. If you're selling T-shirts, it's a job. You got to be a professional. You can't be no hood, sloppy person, sell nothing. You can't throw parties. You can't sell no merchandise. You can't sell no clothing. You can't do nothing unless you treat it just like a job. You cannot be drinking and smoking if you're an entrepreneur. You got to wait till you get off work just like everybody else. If not, your business is going to suffer and you're going to suffer. And definitely if you're doing something illegal, everything got to be legal. You can't be doing something illegal and be illegal. Duh. You sneaking. Everything got to be in order. Insurance got to be paid. License got to be right. Everything got to be right. Period. And no scumbags in the car. And don't dress like you a hustler. Dress like a regular citizen. Why you got all them chains and all that shit on looking like a dealer? Take that shit off and put on a little shirt with the little alligator on it and some slacks. You running around trying to look like you Gucci man or something. You want to go to jail and get a regular car. Stop driving your fancy car if you working. I don't know what's wrong with you, young brothers. Nobody told you nothing. When I came up in the game, we had a hoopty. We had a car we used while we was making deliveries. And the only time we would drive our nice car is when we making deliveries to people that got nice jobs, so we look like we live over there. They live over there with nice cars and stuff. You pull up with a nice car and you look like you just visit them because my customers got Jaguars and shit like that. So with no problem me pulling up with a Cadillac. He got a Jaguar and stuff. I really look like I'm a friend. In that case, if I pull up with a hood car, they're going to know something going on. So also you got to pay attention to the neighbors that you live around and the neighbors of the people you serving. It's really a hustle. It's really a job. You got to be a professional. So go to school, make something out of yourself so you ain't got to do all that. And then if you are hustling, stop just hustling, buying stuff. Take your money and go legal. Brothers just keep hustling till they get caught. Bro, you done made all this money. You ain't invested in nothing. You just want to keep spending money, buying junk and going back to the streets, taking penitentiary chances. You made enough money to do something legal. You could open up an ice cream shop. You could open up a beauty shop for your queen. Nail salon, anything. What is you doing? You just gonna hustle till the wheels fall off? You could have started a trucking business, anything. No, you just want to be a lifetime criminal until you get caught. If you ain't got friends that's doing 4, 5, 6 years and you got to call them and they even left their wife, and if you ain't dealt with that, then you don't understand what I'm saying. Because I got friends that have been in prison twice, hustling. So I hope y'all learn from this, right? And don't let nobody tell you about no doggone code or no damn streets. That's bull. You understand? It's every man for himself and God for us all. Victory.